Good morning, good morning, good morning. Where'd my pen go? There it is. Hope you all fine gentlemen and gentlewomen are having a good morning, day, afternoon, night, wherever you may be. Let's get this show on the road. Yesterday, I did a second live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And we drew this character who is the keeper or the gatekeeper at the Emerald City. And just for reference, this is one of the original illustrations from the original book. That's kind of what I used as inspiration. Excuse me. So we're going to do this. Let's get it going. Today we're going to color it. This will be a shorter live today because I got to do something at 9 o'clock. So we're going to get this done and it's going to be awesome. And I appreciate you guys joining me. All right, so I'm going to pick a nice skin tone color. And what I'm going to do is first just block in all the color. Let's see here. I'm just going to block in all the color. So one of the jobs, at least in the book, one of the jobs of the gatekeeper was to pass out all of these, to pass out to everybody that entered the Emerald City, to pass out these super, super cool emerald jeweled glasses that supposedly protected your eyes from the brilliance and radiance that was the shine of the Emerald City. So that was one of his jobs. I'm doing good this morning, Kenny. I got up a little bit earlier than I usually do. I got to work on some plans for something I'm building. So that was nice. What's going on here? He doesn't have what's happening? Let me see here. I need to draw his. He needs a line right here between his hand and this sleeve. Let me duplicate that over before I forget. Oops. Control S, as always. I think that's all the skin he's got. So basically, this guy is going to be nothing but green, different shades of green. I've got a little square of my playing card back design, and you'll have green. Then you have a little bit of gold in a few places, I think, just to give it some, a little bit of variety. So I'm just going to go in here and start coloring all these different shades of green. Actually, this guy, I feel like this guy's super nice. Either super nice or kind of mischievous. I think he's nice. Control S. That's a good question, Kenny. Um, I think my uh, probably my favorite artist slash uh, uh, artist slash illustrator is N.C. Wyeth, and he's an amazing artist that did all kinds of stuff. But he's probably my favorite artist illustrator. I have some. Yeah, he's definitely my. Also, I did when I was a kid. Sorry, my nose is allergies or something. When I was a kid, um, I we had this thing at school where this artist they had this artist come in that was an illustrator. I can't remember what his name was. I probably should. I could find it if I just did some searching. But we had this artist come in, and I remember we had this assembly type thing where all the kids went to the library. I'm thinking I'm in like third or fourth grade. I can't remember. And he was an illustrator, and he came and talked to us and told us about what he did, and I remember that was pretty impactful for me. He showed us some of his illustrations, and I remember one thing that he did. He had a big easel, and this is like the one thing that I remember. He was talking about how, just in terms of like art and drawing and stuff like that, how so many times drawing is not so much drawing tons of detail, but it's so much like drawing enough detail that the person that's viewing it fills in the blanks with their own imagination. And sometimes that's way more effective than you trying to draw and feed everything with a silver spoon. And I remember when he did his presentation, he drew this little picture that was like this to prove that point. He said, I'm going to draw something. So, and I remember it because it stuck with me, and I drew this for my kids. And I've done different types of talks similar to what he did for me, for other kids. But just to reiterate that point, it's not so much about the details you draw. It's about what you don't draw sometimes that's more effective and that can be more interesting. But as I'm drawing these black shapes here, so he drew this for me. And he said it's not always about what you draw. It's sometimes about what you don't draw that's more effective, that tells a more captivating story. So that's a coffee mug. And I could draw a coffee mug like this, and draw the detail. I could draw that same coffee mug like this and spoon feed you all the detail of it, like that. But to me, this drawing up here on the white, all I'm drawing is just drawing some black shapes. And then your imagination, pulls on your experiences as a person, in the past, and it fills in the blanks. Then it tells you that that's a coffee mug. And on top of that, it's kind of a thing of like, if you didn't notice it, what it was before, when you did notice it, when you finally figure it out, when your brain kind of puts it together, let me save. When your brain finally puts it together, it makes it all that more. Did my computer just crash? I swear. It makes it all that much more effective for you. All right, let's get back going here. So that was a good lesson I learned when I was a kid. And it has stuck with me for a long time. I actually even contacted that guy later in life and asked him if I could possibly be his apprentice. But that didn't work out for some reason. I don't remember why. But Hit me, Kenny. What's your question? Let me see here. Go ahead and color his jeweled eyeglasses in here. And everything else that's emerald. Let's do everything that's gold. Let's pick a safe gold color. There we go. That's a good question about animation. When I was in high school, one of the, before I just, kind of fell into what I was doing, I was planning on going to school to do 3D animation. And this was like, this is still pretty early on in the world of, 3D animation. I think that there, it's kind of a thing. I'm trying to think about how I want to phrase this. I think so much of someone's outlook on something is, I don't want to say jaded, because I feel like jaded can sometimes have a negative connotation, but so much of your outlook on life or whatever, and especially art, and in the case of your question, in the case of animation and the evolution of animation, I think so much of what your view of it is based on kind of like your nostalgia of it, and what kind of what you experienced as a kid or whatever. Because I remember when I was a kid, the animation that I experienced when I was a kid, like, my favorite animation is, probably Robin Hood with the fox and Sword in the Stone. And during that time period, to me, that was some of the greatest animation, hand-drawn animation, just because that's what I grew up with. And so I naturally gravitate towards thinking that was awesome. And then for me personally, I think that as computers came in, I think that we lost some of the character and some of the really the freshness and character, and also just the expertise and skill of those animators that were around in kind of like that golden age of animation. However, I think some of that is just due to the fact that a whole new group of people were trying to learn a new tool, a new technique, which was 3D animation or whatever, or Flash or whatever they did, whatever kind of animation you did. But I think that through that, just that learning curve that people went through, I think that now you've seen the rise of, the evolution of that animation to another level, just a different level. Because I think that if you asked, the kids that grew up, in the 90s, or the kids that grew up in the future, the same question, I think they'll have a very similar answer. However, I say that with saying that I don't watch much of anything. because I'm usually doing this because this is what I love to do. And so I don't, I find that I don't have much time. And if I used to watch stuff while I was working, but I quickly found that that was just distracting, and I couldn't get anything done. Well, I could get stuff done. It would just take me a lot longer because I would keep getting distracted. Um, However, I know that there's stuff out there that I have not seen that's probably just mind blowing. I mean, I know there's all kinds of stuff, like some of the stuff that comes out of Japan, and is crazy. Uh, and lots of other places too. Um, just some crazy stuff. I'm trying to figure out. I most likely will have this key being green foil, but I'm just going to color this in right now like this. I just realized that those clubs on his sleeve make him kind of feel shamrocky. But that's okay. The original illustration, he has little hearts on his little cuffs. That's going to be really small anyways. I mean, it's going to be this big. Probably won't even be able to tell that they're gloves. Can't make that. Are you a fan of any sports team? You know what? I am not. I played football when I was a kid in Texas. My dad was a football coach, and I have basically nine uncles that are all football coaches or were football coaches. And I basically got sportsed out when I was a kid. And so it's more of I don't have time for it kind of a thing. Just the same way it is with watching TV. I really don't I really don't do much of anything. If I'm not drawing or spending time with my family or making things like building stuff, doing that kind of thing, I'm not really doing that much of anything. Because I would rather do this. I mean, this is my favorite thing to do. Sit here and draw and build things and stuff like that. And so I'm not a big sports fan, just because, I'm just not. I probably sound really drab and blah, blah, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I need to pick a color. Let's pick a color for this vest, like a dark green. Lots of little things to color in on this guy. I had a blast drawing this guy. He was fun. He bet his favorite color is red. I like that. I can't forget to make sure I draw in the flesh color for his stomach that's poking out of these little holes where his shirt is just barely hanging on. It's just that one. And of course, I'll end up forgetting to color it. Let me just do that real quick. Right there. Bonk. Okay. Let's draw. You know what? I really like that color. I'm going to make his suit here that same color because I really like it. Oops. Put that gold on the wrong layer. And that way his vest matches his coat. Because I feel like this guy would have a matching. I think this would be a suit. A matching suit. Because this guy's dapper. For sure. All right. Let's pick a really dark green for his belt. And he's got a belt loop in there. go ahead and let me see here. Let's paint these tassels here. That green color. Where do I feel your illustration falls in the space between Disney hand-drawn movie versus modern day art? That's a interesting question. Well, I don't know. Let me think. I'm trying to think about what that means, honestly. Um, um, well, for me, and this is kind of goes back to how people are jaded or whatever. In this case, I am jaded. My love of illustration and, classic illustration from like N.C. Wyeth, Norman Rockwell, those types of people, that my love of illustration has really jaded my opinion on modern art and also just my own experience in college. Because so many of the professors that I had in college really pushed everybody to be very, I guess you could say, quote unquote, modern, expressionistic, abstract, those kind of things. And I wanted to be an illustrator, and being an illustrator was wrong, or being an illustrator was looked down upon as not really art. It was more of just like a profession and not an art. And so that really jaded me on modern art. And so I think a lot of modern art is, I don't like a lot of modern art, but that's why I tend to like gravitate towards, illustration, graphic novels, comics. There we go. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and make sure all of my color is on one layer. And it is. Sorry, my nose. Just going to make sure I got everything colored. Yep. Let me just color this one little belt area here. All right, let me go get some more coffee. Don't leave, please. All right. Now that I got the color duplicated over, I'm just going to change a few parts. I'm going to make these a lighter color green so you can see them. They were kind of getting lost. Let's see what else. All right, I think that's good. Duplicate that, get those changes over. Control S. Okay, let's do it. So, the first thing I'm going to do, since this guy's not all furry like the last couple ones we've done, I'm going to block in my first shadow layer. And the good thing about this drawing is because all of it's mostly green, it's going to be pretty easy in terms of color. I may have to watch some of that gold a little bit. I probably won't paint over the gold because I may end up making the gold foil, most likely. I think the inspiration of the gilding, I mean, from a very simple, straightforward point of view, it just was another thing that you could do with playing cards. And I definitely just wanted to try everything that you could do with playing cards. But I think that more of on a historical point of view, I think the inspiration for gilding cards, for me at least, just came from, honestly, it came from just the tradition of gilding books and such throughout antiquity or whatever. And for me, one of the pieces of art in history that I'm really inspired by, the Book of the Kells, which is what the Arthurian is based on, all of the gold illuminated manuscripts and the gilding and the gold paint and all that kind of stuff was a really big inspiration for me. So I'm just kind of going in here and painting in this initial shadow layer. Oh, I'm definitely planning on doing something with Lord of the Rings. For sure. No doubt about it. I'll be doing at least one Lord of the Rings deck this year, the Fellowship of the Ring. And if I can squeeze it in, I'm going to do the Two Towers. Faux show. Been waiting to do that. I've already got a lot of work done on it. A lot of initial work. Control S. Control S. I think a gold tooth would be a little bit too much. I do think so. I feel like most of this is going to be in shadow. Let's bring down the opacity a little bit. He's looking real good. He's looking real good. All right, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to get my smudgy smudge. Good old smudgy smudge. Start blending these shadow layers in. Didn't really paint any on this. Oops. All right, let me do. I'm gonna do a shadow pass on his face, on the flesh tones. Okay, let's bring that up. Well, can't forget his hands here. I'm going to redo the Tin Man core card, probably. I haven't yet, though. I'm still debating. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm going to do a shadow pass on the gold. Control S. What's up, C-Dub? Now what I'm going to do is go back. I need to blend in this. I need to blend in this shadow layer on his face. A little smudgy smudge. Let me paint his fingernails right quick while I'm here, just so I don't forget. It's good. Okay. All right. Take a drink of coffee. Control S. Let me smudge. Let me blend in that shadow layer on the gold. Okay. Okay, Control S. Now I'm going to start going back. Actually, you know what I'm going to do just because I want to? I'm going to color his face. Put some life into his face. So, through many years of painting faces, I'll show you how I do that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some red into his cheeks and to his nose. There's on human faces, you have a thing called the T-zone that's like your nose and then your brow. You know, I just realized he doesn't have any eyebrows. I need to put some eyebrows. But you have a thing called your T-zone where you have red in that T-zone, which is your nose, your cheeks, and your kind of your brow. It creates kind of a T visually. And then places where, and then on your, for men, their 5 o'clock shadow is kind of like a blue. I'm going to add a little bit more red on the cheeks and just on the tip of the nose, just to give him kind of a jolly nose. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. Then I'm going to give his nose a little bit of a highlight. This will be my first highlight area. And then the area on, let me just smooth this out. Must have missed it. And then the area where they shave their 5 o'clock shadow has a very blue tint, a cool blue tint. So I'm going to come in here with this blue and paint everywhere that he would have, a 5 o'clock shadow, where he would have whiskers and such. And then what I do is I bring it way far back to where it's just slightly there, where you can kind of barely see it, and it ceases to be blue perceptually, but it adds this just slight coolness to his skin where his 5 o'clock shadow would be. Then I'm going to add another shadow layer up here just to push it a little bit darker up here. Blue on the 5 o'clock shadow. And it may not seem like much now, but when I go back, when I'm finished painting his face, I'll turn on and off what I've done. And I think you'll be really surprised at just the amount of life that it puts into the subject. Control S. All right. Control S. See what time it is. Got to keep an eye on my time. All right. Let me add some highlight to some of the spots. Okay. Now I'm going to add some, just kind of a slight pinkish tone to his lips. I'm going to knock that back a little bit. then I'm going to just add a few little blips of white in certain areas. Just to kind of make him look a little shiny. All right. So if I take, let's see. So if I take all this that I drew, let me do one more thing. He needs one more layer of shadow underneath his hat to really push that into shadow. All right. Let me draw his eyebrows right quick while I'm thinking about it. So there you can kind of see, if I just turn on and off what I just did, you can see the life that that adds to, also the depth, you know. All right, let me draw his eyebrows. It's literally going to just be a little line under here. Let me duplicate that over. All right. And of course, I totally forgot to paint his hands at the same time. Control S. All right. Now I'm going to start putting in the first pass at the highlights. Green's a hard color to get a light value and still be CMYK safe. Very tough. I'm trying to find one. There's one. Let's see if that's even, yeah, that's still safe. What is this right here? I didn't do any shadow layer on this part. Let me do that right quick while I'm looking at it, or I will forget. Okay. Let's go back. Get that same color first. All right, let me smudge that stuff. The highlight layer is much easier, only because green is so hard to make a higher value, a lighter value, like I said, and still making it CMYK safe. So I don't have that much room to go up in value. I'm actually going to erase this on this darker green. I'm going to do that with a different color. Control S. Okay. Control S. Okay. I'm going to go in here and paint some simple highlights on his hair, on the strands of hair. I want this to be white. Let's see here. I still want it to be pretty dark. I just want to give his hair a little bit more form. And then I'm guessing he takes care of himself. So I'll give it a nice little sheen. I'm going to go one more layer like that. Control S. Now I'm just going to do a little bit more modeling right here, just to give some of this stuff form here. Bring down the opacity a little bit. Smudgy smudge. Yeah, I like that. Control S. Okay. Now for that darker green coat, let's see here. Let's go multiply. Scratch my arm. Just do a few more shadows in here, just to push it a little bit further. I might make the key gold. I don't know. The thing with gold is, if I make it gold foil, say I make everything that's gold foil. The problem with gold foil is, if you choose to make gold foil, you kind of, well, I might do that. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. That is a very high possibility, though. Control S. Okay, I'm going to do the highlight layer now on that coat. Let's see how it goes. I just picked a very hard green to work with. Trying to make sure I smudge in the direction of his gut just to keep that shape. I need to blend it some more first. Push some up there. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks for joining us. Bring this down. I like those tassels too. I think they just give it a little bit of a, I think they give it some motion, you know, almost like he's flicked around really quick to see who you are. It gives a little bit of dynamic motion. Did I eat steak? Yes, I ate steak. It's delicious. Okay. Let me see. Okay. I'm just trying to think of what I want to do. I want to hit Control S. I'm going to do one more layer of highlight on that dark green. It's just so hard to work with. The green is so hard to work with. And to stay CMYK safe. But we're going to do it. See, what I'm talking about, this CMYK safe thing, green and red are really, really hard to paint, especially with like value, because like if you see this white area that I'm adding, it's really easy to make it look, if you add white, it can look real chalky. Like, I'll give you an example. If I come over here and I have two circles like this, and one is, let's say, red. We'll just do green because that's what we're doing. You have green and one that's blue. See, I think blue is the easiest. Blue is one of the easiest colors to paint. I haven't painted the glasses yet because that's probably going to be foil, and I'm just putting it off because if it's going to be foil, I don't want to paint too much on it. So the process of both is very similar. So what I usually do is I'll select them. Now, if I come in here with the same color, and paint like a shadow layer, and do the same thing with the blue. Okay. And then come in with white and paint a highlight layer. Let me just do this. And then paint a highlight layer using white. See how much, well, not yet, but you'll see. Hopefully you'll see. I'm trying to illustrate a point here. But you can kind of already see already, like, the light part of the blue is already at a higher value. When I say higher value, I just mean closer to white. And then if I go another layer on top and use white and paint it right here, it doesn't really go white. It kind of goes this kind of like pea color green. But when I paint it on the blue, the value gets going higher to white. Let me see. So like that is this layer. This is 78% black right there. But it's also, you know, I mean, not black. I'm sorry, not black. That's the wrong thing. See the little dot right here when I do the sample and how it jumps down on the green and then jumps up on the white? That shows you from bottom to top. Bottom is a value of 0, like black, and then say 10 is your white. I can keep putting white on top of this green, but no matter how much I do it, it still has this kind of like pea color green that just makes it hard to paint and make it look, you know, vibrant and fresh. What's happening? I don't know if that makes sense or not. It does to me. So let me just. So it's a lot easier with like blue, like blues. Let's see. Yellow is kind of hard. Blue is super easy. And then get a little bounce light off the back. Oops. Yeah, and the problem, like, I can keep adding the white on overlay mode, and it will still just keep letting green. But as soon as I plop like opaque white on top, then it begins to look kind of chalky. And that's especially true with like red. Red is super hard. The core shadow. Oops. All right, enough with these little things here. Let's get back to drawing. All right, what was I doing? Let me just see this area right here that needs some highlights. Take a drink, coffee. All right, let me paint some highlights on his glasses. I don't want to blend these highlight layers on the gold too much, because stuff that is more reflective, and I'll come back in and add another little highlight on top of this, but material that is more reflective has sharper specular highlights or sharper, more focused reflections. So you kind of want to be careful. So now with things that are really shiny, they are going to have like a blip, like these little highlights of white. I'm just going to put them in there, and I'm going to leave them just like that, where I'm not going to blend them. So it kind of mimics that really bright, focused specular highlight. And make this stuff look shiny. I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and make that key gold because I think it will look, it's what I keep wanting to do as I look at it. But of course, I should have painted it by itself so I could go then change the color later. But that's okay. We can take care of it right here. What we got here? I need a little bit more gold color. This will make it pop a little bit better. However, I may end up going back. I either make this gold foil or emerald green foil. Control S. All right, let's put our first just erase that. Okay. Let's put our first layer of shadow in here. Go a little bit darker than that. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, I'm going to put my first highlight layer. Excuse me. All right, let's go smudgy smudge. I rarely ever use a soft edge brush. You know, I mean, I could paint a lot of this gradient stuff with the soft edge brush, but I just feel like doing this and then smudging it just gives it a more fresh painterly feel. Because it, obviously it leaves kind of these strokes in there. Control S. It leaves those brush strokes in there, and that's something I like. So, okay, I need to smudge this. Where is my... I need to smudge this shadow layer. I'm trying to... Wait a minute, what's happening? Okay. Smudge this shadow layer. And I'm trying to make the smudges go in the direction of the form. So it kind of gives it that form. I may knock it back a little bit because I do want the gold to feel shiny and smooth. So I may knock back the brush strokes a little bit. Let's go back to the highlight layer and knock those back a little bit. Okay. Now I'm just going to hit it ever so slightly with white, just for a highlight. And I'm not going to touch the white because I want it to seem shiny. Yes, that looks really nice. His gold key to Oz. All right. Okay. I want to go back and put another shadow layer on the coat. It's a little flat for me. And we're going to put like we have on some of the other drawings, we're going to end up putting a fabric texture of some kind pattern over his coat. We'll probably do like a burlap on his coat to make it kind of feel like a thick woven wool jacket or something. And then do some kind of fun plaid or something on his vest thing. Okay, what time is it? All right, I'm doing good. Got to keep my eye on my time. I got to leave a bit earlier today. Okay. Control S. I'm feeling really good about this. Just looking at it. A little bit right there. All right. I might as well go ahead and draw some. I need to find some reference. Let's see. Emerald Jewel. Images. You know what? Let's do this. iStock. Let's see if we can find some emerald jewel. Let's see what we got here. Tasty. Tasty, tasty, tasty. I like that. Let's download that. Confirm download. Quick access. Emerald Jewel. Notice how I bought that. I always talk about that. Don't steal images off Google, because that's stealing. All right. I'm just going to bring this right here just for a little reference. Wait a minute. What is that? What is that white dot right there? What is that? Get rid of that. There we go. Whew. I like the keyhole idea. That's nice. Unfortunately, I've already drawn. Stock image, I don't know. I think a stock image probably be about, it's not a dime or a dollar. I'd say a decent one. It's probably like, I don't know, $5, $6, $7. I don't know, $11. I just pay like a monthly membership, and I get like X number of downloads a month, because I'm always using stock images for different things, like, whether it's photo reference, or whatever. It's expensive though, I tell you that. All right, so I'm just gonna make a new layer, multiply. Now I'm gonna paint these jewels all at the same time, so they all kind of look the same. Yeah, stock images are images that, a photographer has taken and is selling it. Because, if you go onto Google and just pull an image and use it in your work, and then I sell that work as art or something, that's technically stealing, because a photographer had to take that picture and, do the work for it, process it, all that kind of stuff. And that's technically stealing. And I'm an artist myself, and I wouldn't want somebody stealing my artwork. So I think it's a good practice not to do that. jewels are interesting because you still have to be able to like put some type of form into them, but at the same time, because of all the facets of the jewel, the color values are always going to be very weird and irregular. I'm going to go back, put kind of a shadow layer just on this back edge over everything, just to give it a little bit of form. And then I'll bring it back. I'm going to go in here and erase some of these edges just to sharpen up these white edges, just to make them straight. That'll help the jewel faceted look. Control S. Control S. Always Control S to save your life. Okay, let me go to this second layer of white. Make sure that's the right one. Tis. Sharpen those up. Sharpen this dark layer up. Oh, that's the top one. Don't want to sharpen that one up. Let's find this layer here. Yeah, that's the one I want. Control S. Now what I might do, just to add a little bit more depth, let me see this stock image I've got here. Let me straighten it up to make it a more of a circle. Let me push the values a little bit more. Okay. Let's put it on overlay. That's not going to do much. Just going to add that in there just to give the facets a little bit more kind of depth. Control S. And I'm going to do one more thing. Just going to make a new color layer. Color. I'm going to pick a green. Nope, it's not going to do anything. Got one of my highlight layers that I missed over here. There we go. Control S. I've totally neglected these tassels. Okay. Okay, Control S. Now I need to put a little bit of shading on his teeth. I mean, he can't have just like totally white, glowing teeth. He needs a little something. Little chiclets in his mouth. Okay. He forgot his jingle bell up here. Sorry, Jingle Bell. I did not mean to forget you. I will paint you now, my friend. Okay. All right, let me Control S. Let's go back to the old stock photography. Let's do plaid. Don't I already have a green plaid that I've used? I think I do. Let me just go green. Green plaid. Ooh, that's cool. Interesting. Let's find something. It's not very big. It's nice. Let's go with this. Yeah, I already have green plaid in there. Let me see what I already have. Because I know we used the green plaid on something else. Oh yeah, I like that way better. Okay. Do plaid on his vest. It's the scarecrow plaid. So we'll just bring it all together. Okay, good. Paint out a mask. Paint it back in. Yes, I love that. That is very nice. All right, let's see if we've got. I'm even thinking burlap. Let me just see here. Houndstooth. This may be too busy, but I'm going to give it a shot anyways. I'm going to give it a shot. No, I'm not. I'm going to go burlap. Want something nice and textury. Let's see. Nice thick. I need a nice thick weave. That's good. Confirm download. Burlap. Open. Where are you, burlap? Burlap. I already had a burlap texture. Oh well. I want to desaturate it a little bit. And I'm going to keep it that big because if I make it any smaller, you're really going to lose the detail of it. Let me push the values a little bit here. I did get the scarecrow burlap. That's okay. This is all very, 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 very tertiary detail. Let's see here. All right, we'll paint this back. Bring down the opacity. You know, I don't know if the burlap is the way to go. Let's find like a wool, something that's not necessarily woven, because this is wool texture. Nope. Now this is better. This might be better. I do like this. That's got a kind of a nice pattern to it. But this one would work better. Let's see. Is that the same thing? Yeah, let's go with that. Let's try that. Wow, that's really good. Velvet. The thing about velvet is so much not in the texture itself, rather in the shading and the rendering. Really. I don't know if that makes sense. I might could try it. It's not gonna hurt anything. Ship it. Done. Desaturate a little bit here. Make the pattern a little bit smaller so you can see the little triangles or the chevrons, what have you. Let's push the levels a little bit. Oh, yes. Delicious. Delicious. Okay. I really like that a lot. All right, I want to do one more thing. I'm just going to do this because I want to. I probably won't keep it. I'm going to put these little tiny pinstripes. Oops. Go away. Go away, Windows. I'm going to put these little tiny pinstripes on the this green area. How much do I pay for the account for the iStock site? I mean, it's pretty expensive, but I use it a lot. I probably spend probably $120 a month on it. Do this, come over here, and we'll stop it and have like a little mitered pattern here. It's definitely useful for me. Sometimes, some months I'll use it, some months I won't, but it's way cheaper than me buying single images. Because if I just bought single images, it would be like $30. $30 an image, which would be just way too expensive for the amount that I use them. See, if I opened up the Tin Man, we talk about repaint the Tin Man. If I opened up the Tin Man and put him up against this guy, you'd be like, wow, the Tin Man sucks. you need to repaint him. But this is why we repaint the Tin Man. Thanks. Doing this also helps with the form, because I can do these kind of fabric lines, almost like engraving lines, and kind of follow the form. Now I'm going to make a little white layer, like there's a white thread pinstripe next to it. And then I'll just punch it a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to do it on the other side. Getting hungry. What time is it? 7:20. Okay. We're good. Guacamole toast. See, I was having this discussion with my wife about, is it called avocado toast or guacamole toast? And we came to the realization that we still think it's guacamole toast, because avocado toast infers that you're just eating toast with slices of avocado on it, not necessarily guacamole. We eat guacamole toast because we actually make guacamole to put on the toast. What's up, Adam? So I'm still standing by my guacamole toast statement that was made during the 24-hour live decking around. And those decking around boys can Steve can keep his avocado toast. And the next time you're on that show or anything like that, we need to just make sure that they know that I'm still correct. I did the wrong side over here. I really like those pinstripes. That's awesome. All right. Let me think. All right. Just because I can, why not? Let's go on the very top. Let's take some white. This marinade may not work. I'm going to put a little blip right there. I don't know. That may not come out very well in the print. All right, Control S. Let's put a button on this thing. Let's see here. Okay. Let me find all this stuff. This horribly disorganized rendering. Let me find the drawing. Okay, here's the drawing. Let's move that to the top. Okay. Still a lot left. Okay, that looks like all. I need the clubs. Is that? Looks like it. Okay. Let's get everything else that's here in a group. However, I do not want this layer. Okay. Is that everything? Okay, let's duplicate that layer. And then rotate it. Oops. Try that again. Come on, Betty. Come on. There we go. Oof. Gotta think. Control S. Man, I really like this guy. All right. I haven't even looked at it on the background of the card yet. All right. Let's see here. Let's put him all in one group. Where's my card template? We're still good. All right. I still need to put the clubs in right here. Let me see this. I'll just do this really easily. Where's my playing card master? I'm just going to cheat here a little bit. Nobody's going to be mad at me. Because I forgot to put these on a layer. So I have to do things like this. All right. Let's go behind him. Paste. It kind of covers up that index, which is not good. Let's see if we can. I probably should have looked at that, but that's all right. Okay. I don't like that it covers up the pips, but he's fat, so. And I may still put a pip in the background too. All right, I need to do my my holding line that I do on all of them. All right, let me see this. This may or may not work. Let me just see here. I'm going to take him. I'm going to flip him. He may look weird when I flip him. I don't like it. He doesn't look right. It could just be that I'm so used now the Z's backwards and everything. All right, just give me a second. I will. Yeah, that's going to work. I kind of like that. Kind of puts that key right in the middle. Come on back. Just the right spot. right there. Whew. What is this? 2.2 gigs? Not that, shouldn't be that slow. Okay. Let's do the final. Control S. Let's do the final little holding line in white. Rotate this around. Control S. Okay. Let's image, duplicate. He will not get the dot texture. I'm keeping the dot texture for, like, I don't know. I don't want him to have the dot texture. He's more fabric-y, I guess. All right, let me pull in the template, the playing card template, and make a new layer. Shape of the card. Select, copy. Let's go to product shots. Where are you at? Product shots. Blank card templates. And there's really just one that I like. I'm going to use one of these big ones that I've used before. Paste. Line these corners up. Where'd you go? What happened? What happened? Left. That's weird. Do it again. Make me do all this work. I ain't got time to line up all these corners. always lining up corners all day long. Boom. He looks good. Looks real good. Hey guys, what's up? All right. So, where are we at? Copy. A little sharpen mask here. What's happening? So there we go. Mr. Keeper of the Gates. The Gatekeeper. Oh, I'm tired now. Anyways, another Dawn's Early Light in the bag. I really had a fun time doing this guy. I really like how he turned out. I'm really liking this deck. So, but anyways, thanks everybody for, as always, for showing up, hanging out, asking questions, being most excellent. You guys have a, let me go back to you so you can see my wonderful, good-looking face. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day. I will see you guys. I'll probably do another live tonight, maybe around 6:30-ish, like I did, 6:30 Eastern, like I did yesterday. So just be on the lookout. I will try to do my best to post like the event on YouTube before I do it. So you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Be well. Be most excellent. See you guys.